Welcome back, my fellow knights. This is your King Willick speaking. I came to a conclusion. I overwhelmed myself. And here's how I did it. I had too many projects working all at once. And I did it so much that I couldn't get my papers together. First things first, I had too many projects working at the same time, right? I was trying to get Subnautica going just to put out a few ideas on its full release and how the difference is between one storyline versus another. And then I turned around and I ended up doing Dragon Ball Xenoverse's story, which then I tried to do Arc Survival. And then I turn around, this is why it gets overwhelming. Then I turned around and saw some videos on what killed, or what is killing, Arc Survive. Today I came to a realization. It is which is March 7th, 2018. And I'm not going to put any blame on anybody else but myself, because this is my fault, but hear me out. So the problem is this. I tried to do so much at the same time. It just got overwhelming. And I gotta stick to one thing at a time versus the other things. And I still gotta do Dark Souls 3. And I haven't very well explained much of any detail versus what gives Xenoverse a chance. Now, this is the part that confused the freak out of me. I was working on Xenoverse's one story due to having some bonus features on the side, because yes, this game is a bit older than Xenoverse 2, obviously, but it is not going out of style. Not only because people are still playing it due to the fact that they don't have Xenoverse 2 yet, but people who do have Xenoverse 2 are still playing Xenoverse 1 as of yet. Now, I had many mistakes, and half of this message, I should say, could go to Bandai Namco to fix this. Now, as I previously stated, that in Xenoverse 2 you can have a level 99 character to even level 90 and get SSGSS, which is instantly God mode. But it's not overpowering. It does take a bit of stamina, not stamina, ki, just like in Xenoverse 1, where transforming it to Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 will also take away ki. The thing is, the fact that I haven't explained much of any of this just draws back to why it's taking so long to get back on YouTube. Like I said, there's so many projects running at once. I can't decide whether or not which one I want to work on first and how many games I want to play at once to get this project finished. This is my downfall. I will start on one project at a time. However, I was helping out some friends in Xenoverse 2 and then getting some features put out there so that everybody else can enjoy their free time. But for me, it's kind of like a overworking schedule, and I've overconflicted myself to a point where it's like there's so many games that I want to put out there that need credit to, and everything else just flew away. And it's like mind-boggling how I could actually get this done. And as you know, it takes pages after pages to sort things out for me. And I'm not so sure about anybody else, but for me, that's a hassle. I have a very short-term memory, and according to my mom, or my mother, I have an IQ of a 5-year-old. Yes. I'm not making this up. This is why I'm on disability. So there's like a ton of things that I want to get out there, and there's a ton of things that I want to explore, but at the same time it's kind of hard to do that when you have like a ton of other stuff on the table. So I'm going to pick a topic. I'm going to stay on that topic until it's done. And then I'm going to organize myself once again. Don't know how long it's going to take. But then I'm going to try and at least finish up all these projects. Now I've made a list of what games that I have started, what games that I want finished, and then on I will have arrived at the ending for each and every one of them. Subnautica, on the other hand, it's going to take a while because there's a strange story to this. Yeah. And unlike Ark Survive, Subnautica will be finished. Ark will not. Ark has a continuous loop. Since it's been out for so long, it is out on early... what is it? Beta? Whichever it is, it's out on early release. And people are already making comments about why Ark was such a bad idea. And I'm like, okay, so you have a game with dinosaurs surviving. If you look on YouTube's previous videos about this, you'll see why it's killing itself and why other people are killing it as well. And I think not only because the players cheat so much, the game is broken. The game is completely broken. The fact that it is broken, we only get like 2 free maps, which is Ragnarok and I can't remember the other one. The Center, right? And you would have to compete with having the right settings and then trying to find the story behind all of this. Now, Neebs Gaming has done quite a bit to fix this ordeal, to make it their own. But, as I said, the game is broken. There's no way to fix it. There's no way of, you know, generating an idea behind it, because the fact of the matter is that the devs have put so much into it, they didn't decide to fix the problem before it even started. And I'm not, you know, jumping down on the creator's neck or anything. It's just the fact that the game just needs fixed. If it's out on early release, the devs would have to have some sort of way to manage this stuff before it gets out of control. Now, they're going to end up losing a brand before it even starts or finishes. Yeah, finishes, not starts. Keeping track of that. Trying to. Now, the fact of the matter is, I have been trying to work on Xenoverse to get that finished. Now, we just put up Cell Games a week or 2 ago, and it's like I was gifted with Saints Row 3, or Saints Row the 3rd, and I was working tirelessly 3 days in a row to beat that game, which is a lot shorter, mind you, than Saints Row 2. Now, according to Angry Joe's reviews, that game really sucked. To me, not so much, because it has more advanced features in it than Saints Row 2 did. And believe you and me, I was addicted to Saints Row 2 when it was on PlayStation 3. Now, I don't know about anybody else but myself, so I'm going to only speak for myself here. But according to problem at hand, and from the short story, Xenoverse was like not time consuming, but based on trying to find videos on how to do things and fix the idea that it can be done. I think I got that out right. It's like you have to look for a strategy guide to finish the game itself. And to do that, you already know about the PQs between patrol quests. Well, actually they're the same thing. What I meant was going to the Time Vault to do their side of the story. But Elder Kai isn't the one who's sitting there in Xenoverse 1 giving you quests. That would be Trunks. Trunks did that since he wished you there in the first place. Now, in Xenoverse 2, Trunks is too busy with the partner he wished there to get to, like, a certain area of the gameplay, or the game style of it, mind you, in order to do all of this. But the thing that drove me nuts was the fact that I couldn't reboot the game properly to get this whole entire thing started. Now, it's like I couldn't find the restart button. I couldn't find a way to delete my files because it wasn't in the game. The reason why is because Bandai Namco, who started the Xenoverse project to begin with, wanted you to only play one character alone, to get through the game. And that was a bad idea. Because 3 things can come out of this that would torture the crap out of your mind. Number 1, the fact that you want to restart the game trying to create a guide for it. Number 2, you'll want to restart the game to get a better idea of it. Xenoverse 1 sticks to the story that you left off in your main character. If you were to create another character, that other character gets to pick up where the first character left off. They fixed that in Xenoverse 2. Which is why it drives me nuts right now to brings to 3. We need a way to restart the game safely, because there's a lot of things going out there around in Steam space that the only way to restart the game is through the title screen, where you have to go through the start menu to do things, and I'm like, that's too complicated for me to understand. I wish that they had a different way of handling things. So if there was a way to patch this in, please let us manage our saved files. This way it would be a lot different to deal with than on Xbox or PlayStation. I'm pretty sure you gave them a chance to do that. Why not us? Because in Xenoverse 1 and 2, there is no way to delete your saved file. And it is monotonous because it causes too much stress. I wanted to go back and take everything from left to right, but I can't do that because the Time Vault that you guys put in mind has a story that carries on after you have already done them. So it's been archived in the scroll list. So you have the Arrival of the Saiyans, the Frieza Saga, the Ginyu Force, then the Frieza Saga, and then the Cell games, and so on and so forth. And this gets repeated between both games, but there's a slight twist to them. And mind you, I had no part in saying this, but a few of my friends say this game is broken in so many ways because the game was copy and paste between characters. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They said they took characters or one of the same characters and just painted a different look on them and still have the same sort of moves. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure they have their own moves. So if somebody can explain that to me, please. I want to understand this. I just can't figure it out for the life of me. And on top of having all these projects done, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to work on my channel. Now, it's almost a year now. Solix has not returned, and I'm starting to worry even more. And the reason why I'm worrying is because, and this is exactly why I haven't played Digimon Masters Online for quite a bit lately, because I'm tired of playing it by myself. Every time I go into the game and I try to recruit some people, they don't come back online for quite a long time. And they wonder why or how I managed to do it for quite some time. There was 3 years ago that somebody said, no, not 3 years ago, 5 years ago, because it was back in 2013. 5 years ago, somebody said that this game would be overbearing on you even if you don't want it to. And it would be slow in progress to understand how that would be, because the game is so long, and yet if you play like for years straight, you'll understand that there was no guarantee that this game would not drive you insane after a while. The game would get boring after a while. And after playing by myself, I can understand this mess. And Solix, #1, had said that he was not going to come back until Shoutmon was in the game. Five years later, Shoutmon has not returned. And it's almost been a year since I have seen him, because back in the time I was doing the Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain walkthrough, he came on to my comments and said that I had to give him Konami credit for the cutscenes. And the reason why everything was, diversed into me giving him credit. Because I couldn't have put that out any more than anybody else could. And I couldn't even understand the copyright notices that I have been getting because of that. And it was ridiculous. Episode after episode. Even the point that Ocelot had to explain things to you after leaving the hospital. That got a copyright notice. And I'm like, well, I gotta keep some story in there because it's part of the game. Yes, the game that we have, that we are trying to play and create a playlist for, so everybody else out there who watches will understand what it takes to get it done. But did they care about that? No. YouTube's algorithm got in the way and tried to decide whether or not that it was good or bad to keep it on YouTube, because in the instant that people were making a channel to create content, even if it wasn't even theirs, they would copy and paste it from someone else's channel to their channel just to make it their own and to give them subscribers or more numbers than many. And once again, that would be a bad idea, because the official people who actually got that done never got as many subscribers, and that's what ticked them off. I could understand that. But the fact of the matter is the fact that I have jumbled up so much on my plate right now, and it's like I have to choose a topic. Yeah? I have to choose whether or not if I want to continue Xenoverse first, Subnautica first, or Dark Souls 3. I'm leaning towards finishing Dragon Ball Xenoverse, because in Xenoverse it has a short storyline, more linear, and once again, I can explain the bonuses. And if you were to decide to get the game yourselves, along with the DLC that came with it, which I'll explain the DLC after I'm done with the story. By the way, all credits to Bandai Namco and the dev team of the game. Now, I'm going to explain another thing and difference of any games that I've worked on thus far. I was planning on working on a all-in-one character with Mage, Pyro, and Necromancer with a Knight build in Dark Souls 3. And the person that was helping me with this was Corey. Corey told me he had a build for this and he was going to help me with the finish. I said, fine, but how will I get it done? He said, well, you have to, come up with a way to implement your points a lot better. And I was like, dude, the way that things are going in this rate, I doubt it'll even get better the slightest. Because every time I come across a boss or a mini boss or something that comes and gang attacks me, like all in one 6-on-1 fight, I die. And I digress, but I die. There's no defense in this where I could actually fend off a lot of these buggers that keep attacking me, but at some point they're going to move my shield out of the way and just stake me right in the chest, and it's like very annoying. I've reached the threshold of the Abyss Watchers. We got past that point. But going downstairs, another matter entirely. Did you know that the skeletons that run away from you with the hats, no weapons whatsoever, are actually the embodiment of the skeleton ball that comes back and forth every time? So if you kill those, you kill the ball. Overwhelming. Yes, I'm venting. If you haven't noticed by now, that's why I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much I am doing right now. And it overwhelmed me to a point that I couldn't get all of this out whatsoever. And I'm trying to understand how this was possible. And by doing so, I've put a halt on everything until I decided. And it's like in Xenoverse 1, I have to get a main character up from, what was it, 25 to 90 or whatever, because the character that I had as a main that carried over to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, 2 was at 84, I believe. Was it? I believe so. Anyway, I did so much in that game. I thought it would be a nice change in thought to restart that game and go back to level 1, try it again. But what ended up happening? My Xenoverse file got replaced by the Steam Clouds version that I have saved a long time ago. And what happened then? My character got erased, and they used my new character instead. Okay. So, once again, a message to Bandai. Please, let us manage our saved files through the menu, if possible. This is King Willix. I'll get back to working. By the way, I am still working on Warframe. Don't get me wrong, Warframe is still in the projects. Ugh. It's still in the works. I'm working on it. I just need time to figure out where I'm gonna handle things from there. Because not only am I trying to level up in Xenoverse 1, I'm trying to level up in Warframe as well. Because the ranking system in either game is a little different and a bit off. Because if you're used to one, you're used to not all. Because they're all different. You understand that. Good. I didn't. Once again, IQ of a 5-year-old. My brain has a short-term memory span that only exists for like 10 seconds. If I ever learn something, I have to go back and take notes. Pretty much. So, that being said, I'm King Willix for now. Until April 23rd. Yes. April 23rd. Then I won't be able to afford the internet anymore. Peace out.